We're going to give you a walkthrough of EarthRanger Mobile, and then we'll save some time to answer some questions. So I'll start out with a brief history of the app. We announced this app in 2021, actually at the EarthRanger user conference, and then we started out developing it in 2022. And the first feature that we were working on is the tracking feature. And we decided that because we were really eager to get the app into all of your hands and get people to start using it, we wanted to first release in beta, we call it. And so we have a separate app that we call our beta app, and that's a little bit more fragile, maybe a little more buggy, but it allowed us to develop something really quickly and get it into your hands so we could start getting feedback. So like I said, we put the tracking feature, which allows you to record device positions as you're moving around from your mobile device and sync it with EarthRanger Web. So then we continued developing in the beta app and added events, which are also called reports. And we're going to go over these features in a lot more detail later on, but you can create, edit, and sync any reports of things that you're seeing in the field. And again, those are going to EarthRanger Web. And then in October, continuing with the beta app, we added area events, and this was a unique feature and new to EarthRanger Mobile. And this is building off of the events feature that we had previously made, but now you could record a geographic area instead of just one location as part of your report. So as a culmination of all of those beta tests that we had done, all the development work throughout that year, we released V1, our first version, into production in November and brought it all to you to share in EarthRanger User Conference 2022. So continuing on in 2023, we've been hard at work with patrols, and we're going to get into a lot more detail about that coming up, but now you can start and stop patrols from the mobile app. We've been adding pins, which is a different way of logging in. That doesn't use username or password and allows you to change some child users without using a password. So we released that in September, and then most recently have been making some improvements to the way that we handle permission sets. And so here we are today, and we're going to give you a bit more depth on all of those features coming up. So let's talk about some user workflows. I'm not sure how many people have been using EarthRanger Mobile so far in this group, but if you have been, up until now, you've likely been using it as a single user. So this looks a lot like other accounts that you might have online, where you have a username and you have a password, and it's just one user per username and password. But the new feature that we've added with our most recent release is now we can have a parent user and then profile users, which are nested underneath. And so the parent user will have the username and password, and the profile users will each log in using a PIN number. So no need to remember username and password anymore for those profiles. Only the parent will need that. And what's really cool about this is that each profile can have its own permissions. So they're not inheriting from the parent user. If you can give certain permissions to profile 3 and not profile 2. So that is something that we're hoping will help you all to manage your teams and give people the correct access to data. And I'll hand it over to Ivan.
Hello. So I'm going to talk about user-subject relationship. So one important update that we had on this version 2 of the app is that we are no longer using device name. If you're familiar with the previous version of the app, when you logged in, it was asked for this device name that could be something that you could update many times. And this was like the main subject to be tracked in the mobile app. So now in version 2, we had a subject user-oriented approach. in which the subject being tracked is the user that logs into the app. So we do not have support now for device name. And we, as Cassidy mentioned, we added now support for profiles and PIN authentication for users. So all these users, profiles, and parent users now are able also to work with patrols, start and end patrols. So that's a really cool feature that we added in version 2 of the app. Part of the things that are important also to understand on the version 2 of the app is how actually mobile users are linked to a subject, since it's part of the important things that you need to track. So there are two ways of linking a subject to a user. One is the admin way, in which you can access the admin of EarthRanger and link a specific subject to a user manually. And the other way, it's basically when you log into the app, you have this automated way of getting a subject to a user if you didn't manually link it in the admin. So definitely, like the version 2 of the app needs to have a subject being tracked in order to be working. So that's the two ways that we are currently creating subjects on that. So yeah, basically, I mean, this diagram shows like the different scenarios. If you are like a PIN user, you would see the PIN authentication view. And if you enter the app also with a single user workflow, then the application would validate if the subject is created, and if not, will create it automatically to you. So there are two types of levels of users. One is the logged-in user, like this user always authenticates with the password in the home screen for mobile. And the other one, which is the new one, it's the profile user, which asks for a 4-digit pins. So in this way, when you are a profile user, you do not need to put a password, just the 4-digit numbers. And consequently, like the profile users would not be able to log out of the app, just the authenticated ones that access with a password. So the app persists like this information in the database and will recognize if you're a parent user or if you're doing a single user workflow. And it will get you like the different workflows depending on profiles and the single user workflow depending on what you configured in the admin. This one, it's basically, well, one important thing that you guys need to consider is how permissions work in this version 2 of the app. So we have 3 different type of collection types, which is tracking, patrols, and reports. So for permissions in tracking, it's being automatically given to the user when you have this subject created in the application. You will be able to start tracking. I mean, you do not need any additional permission in admin. It will automatically give you permission to start tracking. Patrols, in the other hand, is a global permission. Basically, like you can start using patrols if you have permissions such as adding a patrol, changing a patrol, deleting a patrol, and viewing a patrol. This generally it's given like in a permission set level. So the minimum requirements to use patrol, it's basically to have the ability to add a patrol and the ability to change a patrol in version 2 of the app. Event reporting, it's something that it configures in a category level. So users will be able to see the categories of events that they have access in the app. So this is basically given in a category level, the permission. And it's important to notice that we have 2 different type of events or geo events, which is the points and the polygons one. So for polygons or area reports, you will need to have a specific permission besides of the point events. So that's basically things to consider for this version 2 of the app. So we have a small video in which we are showing to you guys how basically the switch user workflow works. So if you have configured profiles and pins in your mobile application, you will see that button that will allow you to switch user without logging out and logging in with a different user. This is something, a really cool feature that we are incorporating in version 2 of the app based on your feedback, and will help to switch users more easily between between users. Passing up to features, we're going to be covering what do we do and what are the updates in features for this version 2 of the app. One of the big things in this version 2 of the app, it's patrols. Also, we're going to be talking previous features that we're already considering in version 1, which is user tracking and reports. And I'm going to be explaining as well the sync workflows and app configuration updates for this version 2 of the app. So for user tracking, basically like what we track is the active user, right? When a user is logged into the app, then the subject is created, and that's what it's being tracked. And regularly this happens in the map view that you can see here at the right. You will be able to access the map view in the bottom navigation bar at the left. There is an icon called map, and you will be able to access map view and start tracking over there. It's important to say the way that we start tracking is we have two options. You will be able to see a display button called tracking itself, start tracking. And the other one is in the overlay model at the left in this map view, which will help you to also start trackings as well. It's like the second option. This is like real-time tracking. So it captures the device position and the frequency of observations that are registered are varying between the speed of the subject. So that's really important. And you will be able to see also like really important information such as the current location, timestamp, visual indicators of the observations. And also another important thing that we incorporated is the GPS accuracy, which will vary device by device depending on the device that you have. That information is also going to be displayed when you are tracking. Also, it's good to notice that we support online and offline mode for tracking. So in online, basically it's submitting the data in real time to the server in ER. But offline, it persists this information in ER, in the local database. And then when the user has internet available, we'll be sending to the ER database in batches of collections of observations. The track data location, basically how it works is with a subject walking, it's basically having an observation more or less of 25 meters per observation. And this is adjusted if you're, for example, in a car or if you're in a plane, depending on the speed of the subject itself. We have an algorithm that determines how many observations do we want to record. And when the subject is not moving, we consider 5 minutes when we consider like a new observation. Since it's like the subject in the same place. Data handling, yeah, the app catch like in batches for efficient uploads. And tracking states, we have like the live way of tracking, which is when you have internet connection and you have this real-time synchronization with the server. And when the tracking is on, it's the data is persisted in the mobile application. Okay, so we have also a small video here in which we're going to show you how I was working in the morning today here at the hotel in the beach, a really beautiful place. And you will be able to see, and maybe I can speed things a little bit up, that I was walking and like the observations were happening in real time and were synchronized with the server. And those observations points were already being recorded in the database for mobile application. And by instance, since I didn't have like, since I have like internet connection, then you can see here in the top model that it said tracking live, and this was being sent to the server in a live way, let's say. So you would be able to see that in the server in the same time. Okay. See. Yeah. Okay. So the other important feature that we have is reports. Maybe most of you guys are familiar with the reports of version 1. So I just wanted to talk a little bit, briefly about reports for the persons that are not really familiar. So reports, you can see categories of the report. So you can select the category of each of the report. And even if you do not want to see the categories and you will only see the event types, you can also enable this functionality in the settings view and combine all the categories, let's say, and just provide like this display of all the reports. The event types and forms, let's say, are built in admin as event schemas. And we have this view of report dashboard, which offers the user report statuses and shows like how many reports do you have in saved drafts, for example, or how many reports are pending to sync. So it's like a really important view that will show you like the status of your events in the app and in this session. So the way that users create reports in the app, it's we regularly have 2 ways in the map view. If you start tracking, you will see like this icon, which will let you create reports. And also you can use the other option in which you can just long press in the map, and it will also bring you to the workflow of creating reports. So when creating a report, as I mentioned, you choose a category, and then it will automatically display it like the geometry type of your preference. We can create reports as a location, which will just display a location in the map. Or we also have the option to create reports as an area, which is containing different locations conforming a geometry type. So we also like handle workflows for online and offline report handling. So if offline, for example, it will remain the report count in the pending sync section, and the user will be able to edit if it's not submitted yet to the server. So just talking a little bit more about the geometry types reports. For example, in point reports, the app will allow you to even edit the location. For instance, if you are recording, creating a report in a given location, and then you want to change that location from the app, and if the report is not submitted yet, then you will be able to edit that location in the app, which is and move and pan the location to the preferred location that you would like. The other report, as I was mentioning, is the area report. You can see here at the right the beautiful polygon that was created. So it's like just recording an area. This event type records an area, and it also has like some recording instructions when you start using it, in which provides the user like information on how to record an area, which is basically adding points as you are walking or moving the subject. And then when you want to close the data, the geometry, you will just tap the close area button, giving you the shape of a polygon of the area that you selected. And one of the important information to the user here is you will have access to what is the total perimeter of that area, and also, what is the area that you are covering on that event type. The ways of editing a report, we have 2 ways now. One is if you are not submitting a report and you want to just save it for later, for further editions, we have the option to save it as a draft, in which is like kind of a preliminary version of that report, and that you will finalize maybe later. And the app will allow you to access it later for further editions. And now we support the pending sync edit mode, let's say. When the app is not like uploaded to the server, you will be having the option to edit a report, and you will have that caret specifically, the one that you see here at the right, that will allow you to know which pending syncs or pending reports do you have at that moment of time. So a small demonstration of that would be this one, which is basically if you are that particular subject, you create a report or event type. And then, for example, this would be like a location report of a shot. This is an example. You will be able to fill the data type fields that you customize in your own report. For example, date, number of shots, for example, and other multiple options that you can customize. You will be able to add a note in the same report, and also even you will be able to add an image to that report, right? So it's just a reminder that these kind of reports are planned in the admin, and you can customize the reports as your need. And you can see there in the report dashboard view that you will have pending syncs, and you will be able to access the data. And when you get online, those pending syncs will be submitted to the server. So that's really awesome. The other, yeah, that's basically it for that. The other important event type, it's the area one. For example, in the morning, I was walking here around the hotel, and I was creating this polygon as well. So you will be seeing that I was adding points on all the polygon that I wanted to create. And for example, if we move a little bit forward, you will see that the area information is being updated based on the different new points that I am adding. And when I finally want to close the information, the shape is closed. That's the total area of the report. And then you can customize as well your report with additional fields and additional information that you would like to add. And even you can also add notes. Even you can also add images as well to that polygon report. And that's like the good thing of both reports or both geometry types.
Okay, so patrols, I've been excited to hear that some of you have already been using patrols, but this is something that we released this year. So the goal of the patrols is that now you could start and end a patrol on mobile. So we're providing a way for you to create reports, add your tracking, have all your points, and get them all collected together in one place. So yeah, you can start a patrol up in the top right corner. There's a small, do I have a laser pointer? Oh yeah. Okay, so you can start a patrol up here, or down here when you first open the app, you'll also have a button. So patrols will be, if you are online, we're gonna start trying to upload those reports and things. If you're offline, we're just gonna store everything locally on your device until you're able to connect to the internet and upload. So you'll be able to start here and track yourself going around. If you tap here, you'll be able to open this screen here and see a bit of detail about your report. So here's what it looks like when you're starting. You can add your own title here. You can change who's tracking this. So I could change it from myself to Yvonne. And then you can go ahead and hit start there. Okay. And then when you would like to end your patrol, you've got this option here. Also up in this corner, you can end your patrol from there. And when you are ending your patrol, you will get this question, would you like to continue tracking? And you can choose if you would like to maintain tracking or end tracking and end patrol at the same time. So those can be treated separately or together. Okay, so here's another example, just so you can see it all put together. We're gonna go ahead and choose which patrol type we'd like, and you might recognize these from web. And here Leo is going to be tracking, and we're adding a custom title, start patrol, and now you can see we've got this icon representing the location of our start. And you can see this is our track from before we started the patrol. And now we're going to continue moving forward with new tracks that are now associated with that patrol. And I'll pass it off.
Yeah, so another important view that you should consider is the status view, which displays basically the collection information and giving the user a lot of valuable information about your session. So it's basically like the information about the connection between the device and the ER server. So it provides a different sync status for tracks, reports, and patrols. It provides pending sync counts for each of those. What was the last time that each of those synced, and which were submitted in that particular session. And if you see in the top right, you will have a manual sync button that also gives you the option to upload data to the server, or either check resources with the server, such as updates on the local database, for example, on patrol types, event types, and all the different resources that were updated. In terms of app configuration, it's also something new that we are considering in version 2. So you will be seeing this difference between version 1 and version 2. It displays basically the user information. For example, in this case, Gabi Galaxy. And if you have profiles and pins set up in the app, in admin, you will be able to switch users here. Also, as I mentioned in the events section, you will be able to have the specific merge report categories toggle if you want to enable or disable. And a new good thing that we added here is the photo quality. So by default, the photo quality of the app would be chosen as medium, but also you will have the option of choosing low or high. The difference here is like it will speed things up in terms of updating, on sending to the ES server your images, depending on the quality of the image. Also, if you take pictures from specific events, we also have the option of enabling saving those pictures to the camera roll. Also, a really good thing is switch base maps. So now we are supporting topos, satellite, and street. You will be able to configure it here from the settings view, but also the user has the option to also change the base map from the map view. So you will be able to see those two options. Coordinate format, also we support different coordinate formats right now that you will be able to select also in this settings view. And you will also have access to different information such as the privacy policy of EarthRanger. And also you will be able to report an issue. This is really important for us. If you guys have any specific bug or something that you would like to report for us, for having a specific support, you just can access to report an issue, select to include the database and the logs, and then you can send it to us so we can take a look and support you as needed. Other really important thing that maybe not all of you guys know is we have a help center link over there in which we constantly update with relevant information about processes, how to set up things in the admin, new releases that we are doing for mobile. So we are always updating this help center, which is really interesting and contains a lot of valuable information. So we support also different languages that you can also, that's given in the operation system of the app. So we support Swahili, English, Spanish, and other languages. And we plan in the future as well to support more and more and more as we extend the usage of the app. For app synchronization, basically are two types of how the app synchronize. We upload data to the server, which is happening basically when we are collecting data, such as device tracking, patrols, and event types, and event information, as I was mentioning before. And the other way of synchronizing the app is that the app compares resources with the server and updates, and then make the proper updates. For example, in permissions given for a user or for a profile, if you make a change in admin, the app will recognize the change and make the proper update. Also, for example, if you create another patrol type, then we will have this synchronization and compare this resource as well. Or even if you create another category or change a specific category. Sync workflows, it's basically, we have the automated way for tracking. Anytime the device has a specific connection, then the device will send this information to the server automatically. For patrols, you need to go to the track location map view in order to be synced, and it recognizes when a patrol started and when a patrol stopped. For reports, we have the way of going to the reports dashboard, and then the app will recognize if you have pending reports to be synced, that they will be sending to the server. And on start, when you start the application, also the app will recognize what kind of updates we need to do, if we need to send data to the server, or if we need to download resources. So that's another option. And there is also the manual option, as I was mentioning in the status view dashboard. When you tap this button, then the app will attempt to load pending sync data that you have, and will check for any resources updates. Okay, so that was for the new features that we are supporting. So what's coming next for the app? For 2024, we think about these four main pillars that we want to work on. Improving the sync efficiency. We want to build a native solution that will help us to queue uploads to the server. There is room for improvement in terms of syncing information from the app to the server. So definitely it's something that we have it in mind. Displaying subjects. We have been hearing from many of you guys that you would like to see other subjects in the map view and even like see information of that specific subject, like location, in order to identify it in the map view. So that's definitely something that we are considering in the second quarter of next year. The other important thing, as I have been hearing from a lot of you guys, offline maps. I mean, there is a particular need of the app working in an offline scenario, and that you can see the map layers and base maps of the map. So that's something definitely that we are taking as a priority for 2024. And quick capture. So quick capture is creating reports in a more simpler way. We have been hearing a lot of these cases from pilots, for example, that they are flying and they need like some way of creating a report more quickly. So it's something that we're also considering for next year. So, and by the way, we added a QR code here in which we already have a prototype for displaying subjects. So that's like an important next step that we're going to be taking. So if you are interested in testing the prototype and give us feedback, please let us know. I mean, the more feedback that we receive, the more that we take actions and updates on this. Also, it's really, if you guys have the time, please give us feedback. We created a survey, a general survey of the existing features to understand how you guys are using it, what is working for you, any suggestion of new feature. We love to hear your feedback because that gives us our roadmap and what is coming next and what provides more value to you guys. So if you have the time to answer that survey, that would be really valuable for us. We are going to plan sending as well to your email during this time of the conferences. So it will be really helpful for us as well to understand what your needs and what your thoughts on the app. And I think that would be it. Time for questions.
Okay, yeah. Oh, Tiffany, can you bring the mic over? Yeah.
Hi. Thank you. I have a question, but I'm not sure if this is like an appropriate person to ask, so you can send me away to somebody else. But when someone has submitted their patrol, or I'm thinking as the admin, when lots of people have submitted their patrols, how do I get them out? How can I export them? Do you know what I'm asking? Can I get them like a shapefile? Can I download it so I can use it somewhere else? How do I get them out? Maybe this is not the right forum for this question, but maybe you could tell me.
Yeah, so today we have an API, so you can get JSON representation of your control. We don't have an Excel spreadsheet output CSV. That'd be one way. Would be but one way is to use our API to do that. We could teach you how to do that, and then the other way would be if you used our Tableau interface, then you could get access to your patrol data that way. And so what we've done is, in our data warehouse, is summarize the patrol, like the patrol length, and so you give you some key values for that. So those would be the two ways I'd recommend doing that. Okay.
We also have the export through, what is it called? The map thing.
Oh, so yeah, I didn't remember that was supporting patrols, but
Yeah,
okay.
it does.
Yeah, so yeah, I was wrong. There is a way to export on the main web UI. There's an export data on the left, the hamburger menu in the web. So you could export that as a CSV.
Sorry,
Right.
I meant like ArcJS Online.
Oh, okay. That's talking to Jess and asking him to wire up export from using our API into Esri. There's a kind of a way to do that too, but that goes back again to using our API to export and then import it into ArcGIS Online.
Hello, thank you. My question revolves around if there's any plans on simplifying some of the reporting in terms of sub-rangers that may not be able to write. And so like photographs or symbols or something that you can just go down several buttons and send out the report. Is there a plan for that?
I think that would be two things. So one I'll say, and then I'll let you talk about, adding more icons and things like that. So one way, the quick capture that you saw the fourth quarter of this year is to really simplify. A good example that Jess gave yesterday was saying, "Oh, I just want to record the rhino sighting," but under the covers, it's the wildlife sighting report. So it would quickly fill out what are the two pieces of information I need to know about the rhino sighting. It's probably how many rhino or are they in their range? I guess I don't know. Some other are they feeding? Yeah, maybe. So how to quickly do that without having to go and say select category sightings. Select wildlife sighting, select drop down rhino, select, doing this. But how can I just say one button, rhino sighting, key information, save, done. So that would be like one way of doing it. And the other, I think in the future is adding more iconography to all of the report entries. So we want iconography. We do have that for the event types. So you can, we need icons for the event categories themselves, so they could say, "Oh, that looks like a wildlife sighting icon," and then I could drill in. Or what you could do is you could, what Yvonne was saying, you could get rid of all categories, this category metaphor, and just show the report list, and then you would just make a short report list for that ranger team. If there's 5 reports that they ever use, you could just say show those on the mobile screen. So then you have icons. And so at least you could select the thing. And then we just need more iconography around the fields themselves. So that would be like the second thing to think about. We're not there on both of those, but we're getting there. Okay.
Hi. Nothing's working. Okay, so my question is around the profiles. If I understand you correctly, does that mean today I'm doing a, say, rhino sighting, for example, patrol, and I'm logged into that profile, but then a few hours later I want to go and do some, collect data on villages or something. If I switch between the two different the profiles, I'll be able to get different kinds of drop downs and different kinds of information. And that's only coming in the next version of the app. Is that correct?
So that is a novel way of thinking about using that. So the original concept for profiles was that we did not want to give everyone using EarthRanger a password. So we're concerned about someone logging in from home or other places. So let's have the manager log into your console, and then I use a PIN to move to my profile or my user. So if I'm working in the control room, then I enter my PIN. And that way, EarthRanger knows it's me. I've logged in, so there's some authentication, but I can't go home and log in. But that is a novel way of thinking about it, in that a profile has this list of categories it's allowed to see or what it can do. So you could do that. You could have profile 1 would be their community reporting. Profile 2 is ranger. Profile 3 does something. That'd be a good approach. That could work. You can do that today. Yeah. With EarthRanger 2.0, the mobile. Yeah. Okay.
I just want also to say, well, first of all, thanks a lot for being here. It's really important for us to hear from you what you think about the new features. We will be staying around here in the conference. Tomorrow we have another session. If you know someone that is interested in this topic and didn't make it today, we have another session tomorrow, or even if you guys want to come back again, that would be wonderful. And we will have also one-on-one sessions over there. So you can book some time with us. If you have anything in particular that you would like to discuss with us, we will be more than happy to help you with your questions. So again, thanks a lot for your time. Hope that this information was helpful for you and hope that you have a great day. Thank you.